Okay guys, today's video is going to bring you up to speed on the Too Fast, Too Furious Skyline build. As you can see behind me, it is really starting to come together. Stand by. I think you're going to like this one.
What a waste of love.
All right guys, so look, there's been so much that's been happening in building this car, in preparing it to look just like the movie car. As you know, we took a GTT. Yes, it's a GTT, not a GTR. All of that is in previous videos, so be sure to look at our previous videos to learn all that we've done and why we've gone this direction. What you're gonna see is an amazing amount of work that went into prepping the GTR quarter panels to fit perfectly on this GTT body. There is a science to this, and unfortunately, there's a lot of parts that Nissan no longer produces to actually convert a GTT over to a GTR or repair a GTR if it's ever in a pretty big hit. Quarter panels, yes, they still reproduce the quarter panels, they still reproduce the fenders. Unfortunately, they don't reproduce the inner and outer wheel wells. So those require a little bit of modification. We go into detail on all that in our B-roll footage with Joe. It's taken a couple days just prepping the body and taking the quarter panels on and off multiple times to ensure that our alignment is beautiful. I absolutely love this kit. The C West body kit, without question, is a very high quality kit. I know there are probably some companies out there that have copied and tried to reproduce this body kit, but why buy one of those when you could literally go to C West and buy an original? This kit has not been modified whatsoever. It has been presented and hung on the car, and it fits pretty damn good. There's not going to be a lot of body work required to make this body kit look like it belongs on this car. I can't say the same about like the NSX build. If you go back and look at our NSX video, that body kit required 3 weeks of modifications to make it look like it belongs on the car. Not the case with the C West body kit. As you can see, we've got our wheels. Once it's got its coilover suspension on it, it's gonna sit beautifully. The Fast and Furious Supra came out beautifully. The Charger came out beautifully. All the paintwork that comes out of our shop is really top notch. This is gonna be no different. So with that being said, you can't just throw on 25-year-old moldings back on a car that's been beautifully restored. You just can't. So what we've done is we've ordered all new rubbers from Nissan. You know, all of the windshield, rear window rubbers, the door window glass rubbers, door handle rubbers, every piece of rubber we're replacing on this car. You get to the headlights. This car happens to have the Xenon headlight kit, which all R34 GTRs came with. I'm happy to say there's a company called Y Square, and I'm going to show those to you right now. They make a kit that removes the outer lens and you use all the internal components. And here's why it's important, right? Yes, you could probably very easily, if you wanted to, color sand and buff these lenses out, maybe even re-clear them, but they never look 100%. This company makes these replacement lenses, and oh my God, absolute perfection. And what's so amazing is they actually have all new rubber on these lenses. As you can see, look at that. Oh, just absolutely perfect. All the rubber here is brand new rubber here, and this lens literally gets installed in replacement of this lens. Tell me that is not going to look brand new. So it's the little details like this. Of course, new turn signal lenses. These grills are going to be blacked out. Oh my God, this thing is going to look so sharp. Also, even going one extra step, I've seen a lot of these kits floating around, and I don't see the little rubber insert that goes in between the bumper and the hood. We were able to acquire this from our friends over in Japan, and this is the replacement rubber piece that so often gets overlooked and not replaced. And we were able to acquire one of these, which is awesome. It also serves as the metal retainer, but it has the factory rubber on it. Just the little detail stuff. This obviously gets sandwiched in between the hood and the upper bumper cover. It's the little details, I'm telling you, they go such a long way when you build a car like this. It's really easy to just, you know, throw some paint on a car and put some graphics on it and put a body kit on it. Going that extra mile. You know, replacing all the rubbers and all the seals and even bushings, you know. We talked a little bit about this in the previous video. When Shahar was here, he went the extra mile and actually blew some silver paint onto the blue graphics. And just on the hood and the bottom stripes, the studio elected to fan some silver paint onto those graphics. I had the opportunity, like I said in the previous video, to go inspect the second unit production car, and all of that spray paint that they sprayed onto those original graphics, that solvent in the paint destroyed the graphics. Now, what's so cool is James has been on the phone with the guys over at Modern Image, and since we've developed such a great relationship with those guys, they're going to actually put some gradient into the graphic. Can't wait to share that with you, and hopefully they're going to start production of those graphics soon, so anybody wanting to build a Too Fast, Too Furious Skyline could go to Modern Image and actually use their graphics, which will pretty much replicate what you saw on the screen. More to follow on that. You remember the red GTT that we turned into a GTR, you guys? There was a video that James did on that a while back, and that's a whole nother project that we're going to do in future videos. When those guys in Japan did the conversion from the GTT over to the GTR, there's a few things they skipped. They used the GTT hood striker. Our guys in Japan this time around, they supplied us with an actual GTR hood striker. I was trying to make the GTT hood striker work with the new GTR hood latch. Turns out the hood latches from the GTT and the GTR are virtually identical. It's the hood striker that's a little different positioning. I was trying like hell to make that GTT hood striker work. Although you could probably make it work, it's better to just screw the GTR hood striker on. I must have had that hood up and down God knows how many times. Happy to say that in a few minutes, Joe did what I spent half a day doing, and he had it sorted out in no time. We've got the intercooler here.
It is rated for 500 to 600 horsepower. We are going to be somewhere within that realm, around 500 wheels, so crank horsepower is quite a bit more. It's supposed to be made to look like an ARC intercooler. This is not a real ARC intercooler. Those are extremely expensive, and this isn't a real GTR, so this does the job. We are going to have to custom fabricate some brackets to get it to sit where we want it, possibly chop some of the C-West front bumper off. And then we'll add the nitrous cooler ring and the solenoid after.
About 8 years ago, we attended a car show, and I don't even remember what car show it was, but I actually won a prize, and the prize was a NOS sprayer that fits on an intercooler, and it just so happens to be the exact same NOS sprayer that was used on this Too Fast, Too Furious Skyline. So oddly enough, didn't have to buy that. I've had it for 8 years sitting on a shelf. Such a trip. Part of building a car like this, you can't just go on the internet and find cars that other people have built and make it look like that. You have to stay true to your methodologies, and your methodologies are making it look identical to the car that you saw on the screen. All we've done, and like we do with every car we build, every car we've done so far to date, we literally take stills of the movie and we study and investigate those in great depth. And that's exactly what we did on this Too Fast, Too Furious Skyline. I took every scene that you saw the Too Fast, Too Furious Skyline in. We downloaded all of those images and we put stills together and we just studied every little angle. When we met with our upholstery guy, Alex, to do our upholstery, the same guy that Shahar used, there was some question about the material being slightly different color. Well, let me tell you, it is the same color. Because they used different filters when they filmed the movie, it didn't show correctly. Shahar was fortunate enough to visit with the guys that actually did the upholstery work in Florida for the Too Fast, Too Furious franchise, got samples of the original upholstery used, and our guy Alex was able to copy that exact. I'm happy to say that it's very accurate. Anyway, let's get to the back of the car. Let's show you the back. This ass, I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the car. I gotta tell you, man, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of body kits. I'm really digging the C West kit. Skirts look amazing from the back end. As you can see, the bumper fitment is beautiful. We do have the wing installed. It actually took us probably 6 hours looking at multiple pictures, not cars that people have made after the movie, but the actual cars used in the movie to get us to where we angled this exactly as we think it was in the movie. So it looks amazing, amazing quality. The work and the craftsmanship that's gone into the C West wing is just really top notch. We do have to actually paint this wing, paint the sides, make it that beautiful blue, almost similar to the Bayside blue color. We're gonna move the car over to the body shop, and he wants to do all that work over at the body shop in a safer environment. I don't blame him. All the metal work has already been done to the wheel wells. Part of the reason why he's decided to do the other metal work over there was a lot of sparks flying around in here, and he was worried that it wasn't really a safe place to do that kind of work. So car's gonna get flatbedded over to the body shop, and you're gonna see a whole nother video on all the metal work, all the prep paint work, and the beautiful paint. It's one of my favorite parts of our videos is seeing the paint get laid on these cars. And then of course it goes through the graphic installation and all that stuff. We were able to use the factory GTT deck lid, pretty much the same. As you can see, we have some holes to fill from the GTT wing. The plate that is on this wing is big. It requires lots of bolts. And the reason for that is for the structural integrity of the deck lid, not to mention the actual integrity of the wing and it serving as a functional downforce wing. We still have to get some stock tech brakes, which we're shopping for now. The second unit production car that I went and saw that was over at Universal Studios, that car actually had the original GTR Brembo brakes, the gold brakes that you see on all our 34 GTRs, and they had just literally rattle canned them red to look like the StopTech brakes. Apparently they didn't put those StopTech brakes on all the cars they built. As I looked at them, I thought, well, God, I see red behind the gold. Well, from 22 years of them sitting on the back lot at Universal, all that paint had just worn off and exposing the original gold calipers. We have the quarter windows still out. Again, all new rubbers, all new quarter windows going on this car. We were able to find original quarter windows from Nissan. We are going to install those. I thought about maybe stealing those for the GTT build that we're going to do, but decided I'm going to just throw them onto this car. I can't wait to share the next video with you guys. That's probably going to be my favorite video because we get to see the paint and the body work and all the work that goes into perfecting the body, making it laser straight. And I can't stress that enough. Fortunately, this car is pretty much laser straight. These fenders, these GTR fenders and GTR quarters, no damage. It's going to be a relatively easy car to prep for body work. And the roof on this car has got zero damage. Fortunately, boxes haven't been laid on it, kids haven't been jumping on it, so no damage there.
Are they putting that on the Honda?
Oh, Lord,
Oh
surely
no, come on.
How many of you guys would paint it silver and put blue graphics on it? How many of you would paint it black? How many of you would call it a tribute? Keep this body kit, keep the C West body kit, keep these wheels on it, maybe change up the color a little bit. Now, I know a lot of you had said, oh, I'd silver and those blue graphics. Some of you guys absolutely hate. Some of you hate what we did to the Orange Supra with all those green graphics and whatnot. I'd love to hear from you guys. Tell us what you guys would do. Would you go this route? Would you say, I'm going to paint it black? Just paint it all black, no graphics. Would look pretty sick. It's tempting, but it'll defeat the purpose of what we're doing here.
All right, motor's out. Adrian's gonna go ahead and take off the stock crossover intake manifold. We are gonna save the stock oil cooler waterline system. We are not gonna run the ones to the throttle body because we have a new bigger throttle body that doesn't have those provisions. Remove the complete hot side, so turbo manifold, stock turbo, all that stuff is gonna come off. We have a complete new valve cover set that is gonna get painted and a new front timing cover set that is billet from 5.0 Ignite, along with a new trigger sensor setup from NZ Wiring. We're gonna go ahead and get this torn down, clean it up a little bit, start putting the fresh parts on it, do the timing belt water pump service, and leave it ready so that way when the car comes back from paint and body, this motor is all ready to go back in. We'll address anything else that needs to be replaced if the motor mounts broke or if they're sagging or whatever. We'll just do that now. On the transmission, it is still gonna run the stock 5-speed. We are gonna change the clutch and flywheel setup. It's not gonna be our typical multi-disc. It doesn't need to be on this one. It's gonna be pushing around 400 to 500 wheel horsepower. It will be flex fuel, so 91 octane and E85. After this is torn down, we'll do the timing belt water pump setup and then we'll start displaying all the new parts that are gonna go back on it. I did just order the injectors today because I had to figure out what size overall length we needed for the new intake manifold. So like every other project, we run injector dynamics and this one's no different. So this is gonna have injector dynamics, 1300cc injectors and a radium fuel pump hanger with dual in-tank pumps. It will only need to run one 450 liter per hour pump as a main and the second one can be as a backup. And we got the radium fuel line kit, so it comes complete feed and return, fuel pressure regulator, everything from radium, like we usually do on most projects, just because their shit always works.
I'd love to hear from you guys. You think we're crazy? Again, we do everything the hard way. Yes, we could have put fiberglass fenders on this. We could have put fiberglass quarter panels on it and glued them on. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to go the hard way. We do everything the hard way for your viewing pleasure. So, all right, guys, so this is going to wrap up today's video. Please give us a thumbs up if you like our content. It really helps us out. Check out our other videos. There are a lot of them, all the other builds and the future builds. There's a lot more coming. We've got a Ken Mary. We have a Ken Mary Skyline with an RB26 with an R32 subframe assembly, and it is a badass car. And we're gonna share that with you because we've made a lot of headway. Joe did an amazing job on that car. Can't wait to share that car with you. It's coming. So stand by for new stuff coming and tell us what you think, and we'll see you on the next one. Bayside blue would look good too. Hands down my favorite color. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like red ones. You see a lot of white ones. I mean, that's the majority of R34 GTRs came out of the factory white. I don't know if you knew that, but red's rare. Bayside blue is really also a very, very popular color. It just so happens to be my favorite. Black was pretty common, but amazing. Cars look amazing in black. I think white was the most common color. Black was probably pretty common. The silver, the gray, those were pretty common as well. Bayside blue, pretty common. Red rare, yellow rare, and of course those super rare colors going into the 2001s, 2002s, the B-Spec tuners and all those really bitchin' colors. Those came in later in the play, and the, you know, your purple colors and things like that. Purple was also really popular in R34s, believe it or not. The first run, the 99 model years. The midnight purple was a very, very common color on the R33 model. Not so common on the R34, but they did make a few of them. So there is the rare color, which was allowed to be imported because of the rarity factor and the limited production numbers. And that was probably Midnight Purple 3. I don't know, you guys could probably kick in the info on that. You probably know more about that than I do. And yes, it is a GTT, and no, we're not gonna ruin the most coveted car right now on the planet, which is the R34 GTR. The prices on those cars are through the roof. Can you imagine if we took a nice R34 GTR and did all the stuff we're gonna do to this car? There's gonna be the purest people out there that are just gonna hate our guts. So, and quite frankly, we didn't want to spend 150 grand US to land a clean GTR and do that.
All right, so we're back with the GTT. Adrian got the motor out already. I am going to ask him to go ahead and remove.
Dad, I'm your dad. You know that, right?
Yeah, they already know that.
You know that, right? Daddy.
My papa?
Whoa. Daddy took the motor.
He said he loves taking apart intake manifolds and exhaust manifolds off the stock motor, so he said, I'll go ahead and do that too, and leave it ready for you to do timing belt water pump service. And I'll also clean it for you, so that way you don't have to, and you just get to do all the clean stuff.
You put words in my mouth that I can never say.
You said all of that. You said I like doing this stuff.
Not cleaning.
Well, you didn't want to pressure wash it, so you get to clean it instead. Shh, we're filming here, dude.
Quiet on set. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what you're doing? You haven't taken an intake manifold off in a long time. So,
Roasting Adrian today. Okay, when I take a
motor's out.
Ironically, it was so ironic. I'll have Dan shoot these photos up. It was just so ironic, which was kind of ironic.
And isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Oh, God. No, it's fine. You're still filming.
More to follow.